On that note, I wrote something the other day for you all, which is called The Victory of God, and I'm going to read this to you. And it's going to explain, hopefully well, how in every moment where you have a challenge, you have a chance to have a victory with God. And I should send it to you as well. When someone you care about has acted in a way towards you, listen carefully, which harms, hurts, or upsets you, and despite honest personal inquiry, the situation still appears unwarranted, unjustified, and undue. And although you may feel well within your rights to kick back and attack, you should remember that within the hard shell of this moment lies the perfect opportunity to sow a seed of ascension to a higher level in the game of life. This dark moment, though seemingly negative, is the greatest chance to contrast and exhibit the dual characteristics of God, male and female, in balance, even as God does. So we're setting ourselves up for an amazing moment now. Let's look at both sides of God individually first. The feminine, compassion. Compassion is to say that you understand, listen carefully, the other person's unique position in the game of life and recognize some degree of the process that took place in developing the composition of this person's character. This may be events in their past, present conditions, or future anxieties. And as such, you recognize their behavior as less of a personal attack on you, but almost as an inevitable, potentially predictable, and entirely logical symptom of an unfortunate cause. This is called compassionate vision. And upon seeing the corridors of darkness that have mapped out this person's journey to you, the corridors of darkness that have mapped out this person's journey to you, love may flow again. The desire to separate from such a person is replaced by sympathy. A degree of unstoppable forgiveness, pangs of acceptance, and a painless amount of reunification. That's compassion. The masculine side of God, truth. The male aspect of God, however, is as unyielding, stark, and ruthless as the feminine side is mobile, subtle, and kind. The male side cares for only one thing and one thing only. And that is that the laws of the universe and spiritual righteousness are mercilessly upheld. Just like karma, which is one of God's male laws, it will measure and mete out a precisely determined repercussion for every step taken out of line. Discipline, order, wisdom, knowledge, and law are the 5 arms of the male star of God. Discipline, order, wisdom, knowledge, and law are the 5 arms of the male star of God. which again contrast against the beautiful eternal curvature of the female moon. There is no remorse programmed into the male side, for its job is the opposite. It is not to be swayed. It is not to be swayed. It is as reliable as the laws of gravity on Earth, and as impersonal as isolated numbers, and as dry as mathematics. The one God. Though God will often act and demonstrate her nature independently through both these sides, for example, by making male and female here on Earth, and as mentioned, the male law of karma, and in balance, the multitudinous female processes of creation, God, in her absolute nature, is a seamless concoction of both these sides, which effortlessly commingle into one indistinguishable force. And it is that very force, harnessing the true meaning of God within you, that you have a chance to express when you're challenged by someone. I'll read that again. It is that very force, harnessing the true meaning of God within you, that you have a chance to express when you're challenged by someone. A combination of compassion and truth. Your male and female aspects of God together. It is then the situation and the universe asks you, are you going to show me your ego, draped in eons of misery and fear again? Are you going to align yourself with the great God that resides in you, and this time vanish and vanquish the darkness with light? Now we will act out of one or two of these sides according to our prenatal tendencies and our nature. We will either show too much compassion and not enough strength, or we'll show too much strength and not enough compassion. We'll go this way, we'll go that way, we'll tug and pull, and we won't get it right. But the great God in you, which is that one indistinguishable, seamless commingling force of male and female, will show both at once. They will slap and hug at the same time. You know, it will show the law, but it will show the compassion. There will be law and compassion. That is God. And when you show that in your moments when you're challenged, that's when you go to another level. When you're able to say to someone, that's wrong, and it will never be right, and this is why it's wrong, and this is what is right, but I'm not going to punish you for it. I'm going to love you, and I'm going to be here, but this is black, and this is white, and this is my heart in the middle. Let's continue. That is incredible. And that is called the victory of God. And that is what you're supposed to be doing in every challenge, is finding that golden thread where you're showing law, but you're also showing love. That is what you should be finding in every single challenge that you have. And I have to find it, you have to find it, we all have to find that, because that is how God will respond. When I reach situations like that, I have Neil's response. I hear Neil's response. I hear the idealistic response. And sometimes it's difficult. And sometimes I just say to myself, what would God do to that person? God's going to love that person. You think, wow, how is God going to love that person? And then you see, God is compassionate. God will know exactly the history of that person. Like I said, that's what compassion is. You see the dark corridors that led them to you. God will know that and He will understand. What else is that person going to be apart from that person? If they've had that history and those experiences, what else are they going to be apart from that? So you stop getting angry and you say, well, what can you expect from them? What more can you expect from them? But God will also say, but there's a law. And that person, for that response, will get this reaction and repercussions. But I'm there. So when they're ready to grow and wake, I'm there. That's why some people say the ideal situation is to have two parents, male and female. Because they say, and though two males and two females can exhibit both on either side of God, which is fine, but they say that male and female aspect around a human is good. Because that male aspect is going to show truth and law, and I'm not changing for anybody. We know what men are like, right? But universally, men are so stubborn, right? They just have one way and they never change. To be honest, I'm like that also, in many respects. But we know the female, motherly side is so much more mobile. The mother in the home, typically, or the female aspect of a man, is going to wrap its consciousness around the situation and feel it, right? It's like when I'm in a compassionate mood, someone's come to me, I'll wrap myself around their shape and feel them before I speak. I'll feel them, I'll see their shape, okay? And then I'll know where they are. What I try to do more is both. I try to wrap around, feel their position, and then also know there's a law. So, okay, I get everything, but here's what you need to do. That's what we're talking about here today, is that balance. That's what I said in the beginning. A chance to show and exhibit that balanced God, that male and female aspect. So what I want you to do is to go away and think about what aspect of you needs improving. Or what aspect of God can you show more of? Is it the male, the order, the law, the knowledge, the truth, and all these things? Male, I say in inverted commas, we speak lightly here. Or is it the female side that you need to be more softer, be less judgmental? The way to feel it, and the way that I would feel which side of myself to use in a situation, is if I'm unhappy, or unhappiness is a big thing. So like sometimes when you're over compassionate to people, you walk away feeling a bit empty, because you know you've been weak in a way. You know you've gone the easy route and you've just ignored it, but you think to yourself, why wasn't I strong enough? Right? And then sometimes when you're too strong on people and you walk away thinking, didn't need to go that far, then you think, I need to be more compassionate. So that experience in itself helps you to understand your thermostat, whether you've pushed it too high or you've pushed it too low. So if you watch yourself and you analyze yourself, you'll see which side needs to come more forward or back. And then you should readjust. Just like any thermostat, if it's gone too high, you need to readjust it and soften. If it's gone too low, you've got to push a bit harder and come back a bit stronger. But you will know because you'll feel unhappy with what you've done. That's how you'll know. But that victory, just to conclude this subject, that victory is for you all the time. So every moment that you walk through your life and you're challenged by somebody, that's your moment to show that balance. I'm talking about a balanced response. So that's what you're asking yourself, am I responding in a balanced way? And work is slightly different because you're employed to do a certain task, like sacking, for example. This may not be, one is. But in your personal experiences that are independent of everything, you've got to see that, am I responding in a balanced way? And then that should alleviate your unhappiness. Like if something has hurt you, it should alleviate your unhappiness. Because either, let's say you're being abused and you're being over compassionate, let's say you're in an abusive marriage or something, and you're being over compassionate to the partner, and you're too sympathetic to his or her experiences of the past, and you're taking abuse over and over again, and you're thinking, I'm doing the right thing because I love the person, but you don't feel happy. Right? Then you know you're not employing enough law, that this is wrong. And you are now going to have to take the repercussions of that, and your male side will come out and say, enough. I sympathize with you, I get it, but that's wrong. Okay? On the other aspect of it, someone abuses you a little bit and you dump them. Someone gives you a little bit back and you dump them. So there you've got to think, okay, well, hold on a second. A little bit of compassion is good. I need to give a little bit more. It's not just like, right, this is not the law of my mind. Forget about it. You're gone.
It's easier.
Easier said than done, huh?
No, it's easier.
Oh, it's easier.
That's the noise. Some days you might want that.
Yeah. So you know which is the right way. But there's too compassionate, too much law in you. Balance. Always find balance.